What's going on, guys? This is Miasin, and welcome to my Zoodiac deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I want to say this might very well be one of the best decks that you could actually play in the XYZ Festival, but also overall just in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, because you only really need one card to be able to play. It can play multiple hand traps, so it's always really good going second, and of course with cards like Zeus, it's also very insane going second. And if you already have most of the staples in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just in general, this deck should not be too hard to get your hands on, because it doesn't really require a lot of archetype related super rares and ultra rare cards. As you can clearly see, the majority of my super rares and ultra rares are actually just staples in general and cards that I feel like you should already be owning anyways because they're very good in other decks. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe, and also check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. Alright, so I'm playing 3 Max C. This card is absolutely overpowered. You just have to play it. Honestly, it's the first staple that you should be crafting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It's way too good. You draw cards, and you draw cards. Your opponent is probably going to pass turn on like a really worse board, or going to overcommit, and then you get to actually break the board because you have way too many resources to play with. So yeah, Maxi is just insane. And then 2 copies of Ash. This card is also very good. You can negate Maxi, but at the same time, this deck doesn't really lose to Maxi because every single summoning in your deck is inherent, which means that you don't have to declare preemptively that you are going to summon the card. It just happens. So your opponent either has to preemptively Maxi you, or Maxi after you summon a card in order to prevent you from summoning another monster, which is not really ideal. So yeah, this deck doesn't really care too much about Maxi. If you can get your hands on 3 copies of Ash, definitely make sure you you play 3, but if you only have 2 just like me, then you're completely fine with just 2 copies. And then for the Zoodiac monster, Rat is banned. So in other words, you have to play, a 10th Zoodiac monster that has a nice effect. And Bunny Blast to me just felt like a really good one, and to a lot of people as well. If this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can recycle 1 Zoodiac card in your graveyard. So it's a very good card to revive back off of your Chaka 9. And it's also a card that can protect yourself from Forbidden Chalice, because when one of your Zoodiac XYZ monsters is being targeted by a spell effect when Bunny Blast is underneath, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Well, Ram is like the same thing, but for traps, and there's another monster called Cataroost, which is the same thing for monster effects. Anyways, 3 copies of Whiptail. This is how you out your El Shaddai Winda, because it cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you're only allowed to go for 1 summon. Well, 1 special summon, very relevant. So you normal summon this, you make any XYZ, you attack, you crash basically. The Winda gets banished, and then in main phase 2, you can do nothing because Barrage is banned, but whatever. 3 copies of Thoroughblade. This is the best Zoodiac monster in the entire deck now. There's a good reason why this is a super rare, and the reason for that is because you get your Zoodiac cards in your graveyard. Some of them really want to be in the graveyard, like Bunny Blast, Ram, and Zoodiac combo, and then you draw 1 card, and it's not once per turn, which again will probably never come up because Barrage is banned, but if the card ever gets unbanned, well, it could actually be nasty. And yeah, triple Ram, this is also really good. Very similar to Bunny Blast in like both regards, but when this card is destroyed, you revive back a Zoodiac monster. So this is a monster reborn, and this is a warrior returning alive, if you will. So that's it for the monster lineup. You could also be playing Effect Veiler. Works very well. Nibiru, sure thing. Really, it depends. If you play Nibiru, then remember that it's a silver bullet. So against decks like Eldritch, it just doesn't achieve anything. If you want your deck to be a little more versatile, I think this is probably the best hand trap lineup, because even Imperm performs better than Veiler against Eldritch, since this also has a secret effect, quote-unquote, that can negate spells and traps if you place them in the same column, whereas Veiler just has no value whatsoever. Anyways, for the spell cards, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster in the main deck. You don't really want to lose to like bullshit Floodgates, so that's the reason why this card is here. Lightning Storm is great, by the way. You can play that. It's a free ultra rare. Everybody in the game literally has Lightning Storm because it's a part of a bundle pack that you should have anyways. And then Triple Desires, this card literally just has no drawback in this deck because you're not a combo deck. You don't care what you banish as long as you have more Zoodiac cards to draw into. You're always going to be completely fine, so Pot of Desires is nasty. Triple Tenki, of course, this card searches any of your Zoodiac, but it doesn't really do more than that. And also, it kind of conflicts with Lightning Storm, so sometimes when you're going first, you have to Drancia pop yourself. And Drancia has this card, by the way, Drident. I call cards with their old names, I know. But yeah, pretty good card. And then triple copies of Forbidden Chalice. Also very fantastic card. Gives you a little more flexibility instead of always trying to play hand traps. You can draw this card for turn. You can draw this card off of Desires, and it'll be utilizable. Book of Moon is another fantastic card that you can play. And honestly, I actually think I recommend this card a lot. You can definitely play 3 copies of Book of Moon. Potentially cut the 3 Solemn Strike because you really don't need Solemn Strike that much. So if you want your deck to to be even more budget than that it already is, you definitely can do that. And yeah, 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. MST would also work, which would be a budget alternative. Let me just double check that MST is a rare. It is, so you could be playing Mystical Space Typhoon, but the reason why I don't think it's that worth it is because Cosmic Cyclone can banish the Eldritch Traps because they have graveyard effects and you don't really want them to hit the graveyard. If your opponent has Artifact Scythe face down, if you Cosmic Cyclone it, it will not get its effect, whereas if you MST your opponent's Artifact Scythe, you're literally helping him out, so I don't really recommend playing Mystical Space Typhoon for that reason. But if you're very short on super rare points, then definitely go play a Mystical Space Typhoon. It's almost the same, or just play your free Lightning Storm. You're gonna be fine. 3 Compose, it's a rare card and it's pretty good. I'm a big fan. You can bounce back the Zoodiac monster that you revive back with your Chakanine if it's going to get like banished or something, so next turn at least you have like a normal summon. Zoodiac combo, this also is very nice. It has an effect on the field, but the majority of the time you're really trying to use its graveyard effect. So if you can discard it with the Thoroblade, which is a 6 of basically, you're going to be able to recycle back 5 Zoodiac cards from your graveyard into the deck and draw 1 card. So even though Trident is limited, it almost acts, this card is basically a Pot of Avarice, so it really isn't the end of the world. And yeah, more staples, so 3 Imperm, 3 Ice Dragon's Prison. This is an incredibly good card that gets rid of monsters that are very annoying without destroying them and without targeting them. So sometimes you might be in front of like annoying boss monsters that you don't really know how to deal with, and Ice Dragon's Prison is just one of your best bets for that. So I'm a huge fan of this card. DD Crow can also be played as a hand trap. I think DD Crow is one of the only hand traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! That is actually a super rare, because the majority of the Ghost Sister, well, every single Ghost Sister is an Ultra, and then Imperm, Nibiru are Ultras, Maxi is an Ultra, but yeah, DD Crow is a super, so you could be playing that as well. And yeah, finally 3 copies of Solemn Strike, but Book of Moon is also a fantastic option, and I really recommend that card if you cannot afford the ultra rare Solemn Strikes. I put 0 effort into the extra deck, not because I don't know how to build the deck, but because I didn't really want to waste my points on cards that didn't really come up that often anyway, so I'm playing 3 of literally every single Zoodiac monster that you can play. So 3 Tiger Mortar, 3 Borbo, 3 Hammer Kong, 3 Chakanine, which is the best out of all these, and then 1 copy of Trident, of course, and finally 1 Drill Driver Vespinato and 1 Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. Unfortunately, this card is limited, otherwise I would have been playing like 2 or even maybe 3 copies of it, because your main win condition, honestly, is actually Zeus. It's not even Trident, believe it or not. Yeah, we're really trying to use this card with multiple materials. Send every single card your opponent controls to the grave. Again, send. It doesn't destroy, doesn't target. Those are always the keywords that you're looking for when you want to build a deck, because it allows you to cover as much ground as possible when you're removing your opponent's monsters. And yeah, I don't think I really have to explain what these cards do, because their effects are almost irrelevant for the most part. I mean, this is a Monster Reborn, it's pretty good, so you could technically play the Utopic Juiko Future package, but the reason why I'm not really doing that is, first of all, because it's 1 Super and 1 Ultra, so it would have made this deck a little too expensive, but also because whichever monster is revived back off of Chakanine cannot be used as an Xyz summon that turn. So that's kind of annoying, because if you have, let's say, Chakanine and an Xyz monster revive back off of it, even though you have 2 Xyz monsters on the field, you cannot make Utopic Future with it. Yeah, a little frustrating. If Barrage was a thing, you at least would have been able to like destroy it, or if Rat was a thing, then it would have been a little easier to get cards in the graveyard and then destroy them with your Trident, but it's a little too neggy. You might as well just end on Trident Pass when you're going first. And when you're going second, of course, the goal is to make Zeus as fast as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this Zoodiac deck profile. Let me know if you have any more questions. But also, most importantly, let me know if you want me to make more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel deck profiles. I definitely could be doing that. I don't know if I should be making more TCG or Master Duel videos moving forward on this channel. So definitely let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.